We are going to be recording today, so I just started the recording. Please accept if there's a pop-up box that comes up on your screen.
Hi, Joe.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very excited to be presenting to you this panel from CPCS, which we've titled Hang Your Shingle for a Rewarding Career, Learn About Defending the People of Massachusetts with CPCS. I'm Ariel Klimmer. I'm the director of the Center for Social Justice at Western New England University School of Law. We work to advance justice through research, education, advocacy, innovation, and public engagement. We do that through intentionally trying to be a hub of all kinds of social justice activity for the university and the community. We put on social justice programming on a whole number of topics. We also offer numerous in-house pro bono opportunities for students and even the public to work with and for the local community. And we partner with others to identify and address unmet legal needs in our community. I want to say thank you to CPCS for bringing this panel to us and putting on this presentation, especially Erica, Rose, Andrew, and Brianna for being here today and being our speakers. And so without further ado, I want to let you know that you can put your questions in the chat and they will be monitored and answered by the panelists. And we'll have some time for sort of Q&A at the end. So thanks again for being here.
Hi, guys. My name is Erica Kushna, and Rose King, Andrew Don, and Joe Robinson and I are here today. We're all trial panel directors for the Committee for Public Counsel Services to sort of hopefully have you think about exploring perhaps a career opportunity as a bar advocate or as a capital contract attorney or mental health contract attorney. I'm going to share my screen because I've prepared just a little PowerPoint, and then each of us will introduce ourselves and sort of tell you about our practice. And we hope that this will be an informative session for you. I'm going to share my screen right now. And there we go. And I know Rose is going to monitor the chat, so she's just going to interrupt me if there's a question. But so I'll introduce myself and then I'll let Rose introduce herself. My name is Erica Kushna. I am a Western New England University graduate. I graduated in 1992 and I became a bar advocate in 1993. And I practiced in the juvenile court, the district court, the superior court, and I practiced capital cases. And I also appeared in the appeals court and the SJC. So I really got a lot of trial practice. I worked in Springfield. I loved the subject matter there. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that. I loved the flexibility that I had. I raised 3 sons, and I also really enjoyed being my own boss. I picked the cases that I wanted. I could have other cases. I had private practice, along with my bar advocate practice. And I have to tell you, it was one of the most rewarding. I was there 18 years and I loved every moment. So I'll let Rose introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rose King. I'm the trial panel director for adult criminal trials. So each district and superior court in the Commonwealth has bar advocates working there. I and my unit, Brianna Rowley is here also. She works in my unit. Brianna oversees Hampden and Hampshire counties. I too was a bar advocate for 9 years. I didn't become a bar advocate right out of law school, but I became a bar advocate after practicing civil law for 7 years. So I had been a lawyer, but I hadn't practiced criminal law, which is a whole different animal. When I became a bar advocate, I found that experienced attorneys were willing to help every step of the way. So I joined a bar advocate program in Boston, Suffolk Lawyers for Justice, and I got a mentor assigned to me. They helped me through the process. I started taking cases in the district court and in the juvenile court. When I finished as a bar advocate in 2012, I had practiced in the juvenile court, in the district court, in the superior court, and in the appeals court and the SJC. I made a difference in a lot of people's lives. I earned a living, and I had fun along the way. So it's a great career path if you're interested in seeking justice and making a difference and earning a living.
So Rose and I are going to run through some slides, and it's going to have information and materials that are also relevant to Drew and Joe's practices. And then you'll hear from Drew and Joe about their experience and their panels also. So Rose and I are here to talk to you about becoming a bar advocate. There are bar advocate offices, so the recruitment is just a little bit different. And then you can practice in adult court, and then there's also a certification for juvenile court. I do want to tell you that these pictures are of a bar advocate in the Hampshire courthouse. His name is Everald Henry. And then there's another bar advocate, Colleen Curry, who you'll see also. What is CPCS? CPCS is the Committee for Public Counsel Services. We fight for equal justice and the human dignity of our clients by supporting our clients and achieving their legal and life outcomes. We zealously advocate for the rights of individuals and promote just public policy to protect the rights of all. Our core values are courage, accountability, respect, and excellence. CPCS provides legal representation for those who are unable to afford an attorney. And we do that in criminal, delinquency, youthful offender proceedings, child welfare, mental health, sexually dangerous persons, and sex offender registry cases. And we do that with the private counsel division, the public defender division, the children and family law division, the youth advocacy division, the mental health litigation division. And we also have an immigration impact unit that provides all of our attorneys support on immigration issues. Who are our clients? I have to say that representing my clients from CPCS has been the most rewarding experience of my legal career. They are individuals that have entered the legal system. You meet your clients at probably absolutely the worst time in their lives. And we provide representation on criminal, delinquency, youth offender, and child welfare cases, and then Joe will talk about the mental health cases. I cannot stress to you how incredibly and important and gratifying this work is. And so I attached today some of the great subject matter that we have in Springfield. I don't know if you guys are familiar or not with the Justice Department just recently intervened, and they have found that the Springfield Police Narcotics Squad routinely uses excessive force. And I didn't provide the link. There's this case, this one, I'm not sure if people are familiar or not, with Greg Bigda. It was a story that the narcotics unit, they routinely took cars from the impound and slapped plates on them. And so one evening, a narcotics officer decided to get a pizza and left his car running. And so, being an attractive nuisance, the two kids jumped in and drove across city lines. And what happened was they ended up in a room, an interrogation room, that was recorded and videotaped. And those recordings were released by the Springfield newspaper. So if you Google Greg Bigda and look for those tapes, it is astounding. The language that was used on these children, they used the attack dog on them. And it was pretty evident that they were looking for something that was in the car that they couldn't find. And so that, I mean, working with the Springfield police based with this information is really rich work. And if you're interested in social justice, there's a lot to be done there. So I want to give you some examples of our work. I don't know if you guys are heading into finals, but when you're done, you might want to catch on Netflix if you haven't seen it yet. Two really, really interesting documentaries. The first one is Trial 4, and that's Rosemary Scapaccio, who is just a fabulous, fabulous attorney. And actually, Rose probably knows more about this case than I do, but it's a 1995 murder conviction, a young man by the name of Sean Ellis. And there was an officer that was shot sort of execution style outside of a Walgreens. And it was very questionable and lazy police work that put this young man for 22 years in prison. And it's just a phenomenal story. The other Netflix show that I would encourage you to watch is How to Fix a Drug Scandal. And again, this really stresses the importance of our work. In the drug labs in Massachusetts, there were two lab technicians who, for two very different reasons, falsified drug records. So there was Annie Dukin. She wanted to be the best drug analyzer ever. And so she just churned through and made false positives. And then there was Sonia Farak, who decided to sample all the drugs in the drug lab. And the result was that a lot of people went to jail with faulty drug certificates. And Luke Ryan, who's in this documentary, and a lot of other people worked very hard to overturn certain convictions, and found that there was issues all the way up into the Attorney General's office. So again, absolutely fascinating stuff. And this is the work that you could be doing. All right. So how does it work? All right. How can I make a living? So there's a network of independent contractors seeking justice for clients. And so what you do is you sign a contract with CPCS, and you're provided with an hourly fee. And bar advocates work under the umbrella of the Committee for Public Counsel Services. So in 2017, CPCS represented over 269,000 cases. And I think that the contract attorneys represented over 3/4 of those cases. So if you decide that this is the work that you want to do, and you are diligent and hardworking, there's a definite ability to create a practice with this. So I hope that you understand from what I've said that bar advocates play a crucial role in our justice system. And so you will be working. One of the reasons why I decided I wanted to do this is I wanted the trial experience. So I graduated in '92. I practiced, I was sworn in. 3 months later, I had my first jury trial. And I was supported by training and a mentor. And I did not feel like I was on my own. You're going to have a busy and exciting practice. If you decide to practice in the Springfield District Court, you'll get there, you'll advocate in front of the judge, you'll be making bail arguments, you'll be meeting your clients, you'll be speaking for your clients, and it's a very busy day. Your duty days will be nonstop, downstairs, upstairs, paperwork, negotiation. There's not a lot of downtime, and it's exciting work. And again, so this is Colleen Curry. She's like a fierce, fierce warrior out in Hampshire County. And she has mentored many of attorneys out in Western Mass. And we actually provide you with mentors so that you feel supported and you don't feel alone and you don't feel over your head. So let's talk about the how, because I think that's really important. So attorneys that wish to accept misdemeanors and concurrent felonies in district court or assignments of juvenile delinquency, you have to apply through a county bar advocate program. On my next slide, you're going to see how you get there, those addresses. And then you also have to get a state vendor, approval as a state vendor. And then we provide training. And for the criminal realm, it's the ZEALOUS program. And then there is a final step for juvenile delinquency. You contact me, and I have a very short application. So what is this ZEALOUS training? Am I going to feel like I'm ready? So CPCS provides a certification course for those accepting criminal cases in district court and juvenile delinquency cases. And it's a 5-week interactive course that combines your own work as well as 3 days per week in live Zoom sessions in the afternoon. So it's not 5 full weeks, it's pretty much 5 half weeks. And it's all the nuts and bolts that you're going to need for your first duty day. So again, you get approved by your bar advocate program, then you get sent to the ZEALOUS program. And then once you finish that, you're paired with a mentor. So you are good to go. So here I've provided the link, publiccounsel.net, the directory of the bar advocate offices. If you're going to someplace else in the state, then you would just click on that bar advocate program, email them, and ask them for an application. I'm going to stress that I'm not from the Springfield area. I went to WNU, and ended up in Springfield, and I loved it. Cost of living was less, and the practice was rich, and the bar in Springfield and Western Mass, I just absolutely loved all the people that I practiced with. Okay, and how do you become a state vendor? It's just an application. And so you submit it at vendorinfo@publiccounsel.net, and then you follow up on your application. Again, if you have questions about this, feel free to contact CPCS. And then they also tell you how to bill. So here's the big question. How do I get paid? So what you do, and you'll find out as any attorney, you track your hours, and then you submit your hours into a computer system that's called eBill. And it has every client, you get a NAP from the court, and it has your client's name, and you submit your time. And then on a monthly basis, those bills are paid. So you do have an ability to have a little bit of control over your income. And the rates are set by the legislature, and currently district court and juvenile delinquency rates are $53 an hour, and superior court and YO rates are $68 an hour. So, all right, I can get paid, but how do I get an office? How do I do all these things? Well, what's really interesting is there's lots of places that you can get space. And I'm going to give you an example. In Western Mass, there's this fabulous place called the Docket. And Lauren Thompson is the person to talk to. And it's an alternative to being in a firm. So she has no lease, month-to-month options that have Wi-Fi, printers, meeting rooms, collaborative working areas, lockers, restrooms, a kitchenette, all within walking distance of the courthouse. And just briefly, a little push for YAD. I started out in the district court, and then I started taking cases with children. I realized the profound effect that I could have on a child's life, and I stayed with it. And that's why I ultimately took my position that I have now, because I am absolutely passionate about juvenile justice. And so, why do this work? I don't know very many ways that you can be such a direct agent for change. I already told you that for myself, I had incredible courtroom experience. I've litigated civil cases, I've litigated housing cases, and all of that transferred from the litigation experience that I got originally as a criminal defense lawyer. I had a chance to change lives. I still get letters and cards and phone calls from people who thank me for the work that I've done. It is really powerful and impactful work, and you get an opportunity to change someone's life trajectory or help them in a time that is their ultimate worst. And now, more than ever, it's really important racial equity work. There is so much to do. And this is the place that you can do it. And I can't stress that enough. So if you have questions, You can call myself. Here's my info and Rose King's info. And I'll turn it over to Rose. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
How could I possibly add anything to that? Thanks, Erica. I don't have anything. I wanted all of the attendee, I put it in the chat, but you will get the, Ariel, we can send the PowerPoint out to everyone, right? So they'll have all this information. Well, yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you'll have all the information. But Eric is right. It really is a rewarding way to make a living, frankly, and you know, make a difference. I don't have anything. Maybe Drew and Joe should talk about, because it's important to understand Erica and me are on one side. For if you want to work in the criminal realm or the delinquency realm, you go through a bar advocate program. If you want to do the children and family law, mental health, you go directly to the Commonwealth. And that's what Drew and Joe Robinson will talk about. So who wants to go first?
I think we appointed Drew, so we'll make him go first.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Again, my name's Drew Don, and I am the trial panel director for the Children and Family Law Program. Just real quick about me, I started off as a staff attorney for the CPCS in their Children and Family Law office in Salem, and I was there for 2 years. And then I was on my own as a private attorney doing these cases for just under 20 years. And then I just recently was hired back by CPCS to be the director for the trial panel program. Similar to what you've heard from Erica and Rose, I practiced primarily in the juvenile court, but I was also in the probate court and in appeals court in the Supreme Judicial Court as well. So just real quick, a little bit about children and family law. Children and family law are the cases where the state is intervening into the life of a family. Usually you think about that in Department of Children and Family cases where there's an allegation of abuse or neglect of a child by a family, and then the department may make a request for custody of that child. And when they make that request, that triggers the constitutional right to an attorney because the intrusion of the state into the family. And so we represent children, mothers, or fathers in those cases. We also represent people in what are called child requiring assistance cases, which are what is known as status offenses, which include cases filed by schools for truancy, for children who are runaways by families, children not obeying the reasonable rules of the home, or a stubborn child case. Also sexually exploited children fall into those, the CRA cases as well. And then I won't get too much into this, but we also represent in guardianship cases, in probate court, as well as private adoption cases, if people qualify for indigency. In these cases, as Erica and Rose were saying, we're a little bit different in that we don't have the bar advocate offices, and that you apply directly to my office to become part of the panel. We will be having a training, one of our trainings coming up, which is a 7-day training, 5 days of substance, and then 2 days of trial practice. We do a mock temporary custody hearing, which is the name of the hearing that initiates these kinds of cases in juvenile court. That we don't have the date set yet, but it will definitely be in September. If you're interested in applying, there will be an application up in July up on the publiccounsel.net website. One thing that you may have gotten a hint from, and is definitely true in CAFL cases, is that it is an enormously supportive practice area. We give you training, 5 days of training about the practice area. You are then assigned a mentor who is available to you for legal questions, as well as trial strategy and all the other issues that come up in these cases. In addition to the mentor, each county has assigned to it a resource attorney, which is also there to support you for things like legal questions, strategy, maybe questions about what kind of experts to hire or who the names of these people might be. And in addition, that person also provides 8 hours of continuing legal education in each county in Massachusetts. And then on top of that, we also have directly my office, and we have 4 attorneys there that are also there to help support you with legal questions, strategy, things like that. So there is a ton of support in this. Also, the bar, as you've gotten maybe some sense from Erica or Rose, is incredibly collegial. I think part of that is because as you practice in this area, you will go from representing either a child or a mother or a father. You know, you may be in court one day and have 3 or 4 cases on, and in one you'll represent a child, and then in another one a mother or a father. And because people are constantly sort of shifting positions or sides, so to speak, I think people are incredibly collegial and cooperative with one another. The other truth of this is that this is difficult and complicated work, and it's too important to have kind of nonsense, so that people really work together to help the children and families that come before the court in juvenile court. The one thing that sometimes people think about, and I just wanted to address a little bit, is that, you know, sometimes people are wondered about, well, if I do these cases, am I helping, you know, sort of bad people who are child abusers, right? And that's not what you see in these cases. What you see is people who are poor, who are struggling in different areas of their lives usually, and are up against systems that have enormous power, and they have very little power. The Department of Children and Families is an enormously powerful and complicated bureaucracy, and it can be very difficult to navigate it on your own. They also, unfortunately, will sometimes take a personal offense at people being upset when they accuse people of being abusive of their children. They seem shocked by that sometimes, that people react to that. And then the department can sometimes, frankly, bully people in these cases. That's not all the time, but it is sometime. And so you're really helping people to navigate these complicated and powerful systems in what, as Erica had indicated, very difficult moments of their lives in which they're very vulnerable. And they need a shepherd to help them through these systems, as well as an advocate to stand up for them, both in getting services that help kind of change the facts of what's going on in the family, as well as advocate for them in court and with the department in terms of administrative law and agency advocacy. One thing about CAFL is that it's very complicated in that you can, as you might imagine, you are addressing issues of substance abuse, domestic violence allegations, mental health issues. There's all these kinds of points of advocacy that are available to you, and you can be extremely creative in how you think about what experts you're going to bring in, and how to litigate and advocate in these cases, and you have an enormous amount of support. Erica mentioned the docket office in Springfield. CAFL has a subscription at that office, and that we can help you to access that through our subscription to help support you. The last thing I just want to say in this, because I only have a few minutes, is just that in particular in CAFL right now, we have a real need for new attorneys in Hampton County, Franklin County, Hampshire County, the Berkshires. We have a real need. And so if you are interested in doing this work as a bar advocate, we could certainly help you get set up, and you would have a real running practice in and have plenty of cases really in very short order.
Thanks, Drew.
Hey guys, my name is Joe Robinson. Like Erica, Rose, and Drew, I'm the trial panel director. But for me, it's for the mental health litigation division. So one of the things people don't think about with public defenders is that people can be public defenders and not do criminal law. So the mental health litigation division is civil, but our cases do involve fundamental liberty interests of our clients. We are structured somewhat similarly to CAFO in that if you want to take mental health litigation cases, you apply directly to us to be on our panel. We have trainings that we're doing in the spring and the fall, and we just finished our spring training, and we will be doing a fall training sometime in September, probably corresponding to after folks have taken the bar exam. And our training is, during this past year, we've transitioned to an online training format. So it's 6 days with 2 days, 6 days of training over 3 weeks. So it's twice a week for 3 weeks with you doing work on your own in between that time. And then at the end of our training, we have a mock trial. So somewhat similar to CAFL and all of the other areas, we provide mentors for support. We have regional coordinators. We have ongoing continuing legal education programs throughout the year. We have a training department that provides trainings on both trial skills and substantive matters. So if you want to take our cases, there is support there for you. But I should probably tell you what the cases are about. So broadly speaking, we provide services for 2 different types of clients. The first type of client are people who have been detained in a hospital based upon a perceived need that they need to be hospitalized based on a mental illness. So these are civil commitment hearings. They're very fast-paced cases. So if you want to get trial experience with trying cases with expert witnesses, you will get plenty of that type of experience. So that's the first group of cases. The second type of cases we represent are folks who are have guardianship petitions filed against them. And we represent the adult guardianship cases. CAFL does the under 18 guardianship cases. And guardianship cases are filed in the probate and family court. And they are cases that involve some individual, which could be a state actor or a private actor, filing a petition which alleges that someone has a clinical condition that impairs their ability to make certain decisions about their life. And guardianship cases can be from the spectrum of very routine, benign type issues to literally end of life medical decision-making issues. So there's a broad spectrum of very important legal rights that are decided in the probate and family court, and the mental health litigation division provides attorneys who do that type of work. So the way we've divided our training is the trainings have been separated between the commitment and guardianship cases. The training in the fall will be for the civil commitment cases, and the training that will be in the spring is for the guardianship cases. So we have, like the other practice areas, a very collegial bar. There's roughly 300 attorneys on our panel throughout the state. We have a listserv that is very active where people can share ideas about cases. We have regional coordinators, we have mentors, and the billing is similar to what which Erica had explained on the the PowerPoint, the billing rate for mental health litigation cases is currently $53 an hour, whether the cases are in the district court or the probate and family court. So I guess the thing that I would leave you with on mental health litigation cases is we really give a voice to the voiceless. So our clients oftentimes are people that other folks might have a poor opinion of. They've been detained in a hospital. They might not be able to talk. They might not be able to express their opinions. They might have a medical legal system that's sort of stacked against them, with a lot of people telling the client what's in their best interest. But our advocacy is to be client-centered and represent the interests of our clients. So that's all I have for mental health litigation.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks. I hope you guys, we're all the trial panel directors for each of our respective units. We're here to answer your questions if you don't have any today. Our contact information will be provided to you. And we hope that we've given you a good overview of what a rich and enriching practice you can have with the Committee for Public Counsel Services. Anybody else have anything to add?
I wanted to add just one other thing. Erica, I wanted to talk a little bit about what a duty day in the district or the juvenile court is like. In the criminal and the delinquency practice, that's how you get your cases. So my first duty day was actually in juvenile court, and it kind of felt like the first day of school. And you go into the court on your first day, and whatever juvenile was being arraigned on that day, that was the case that you got on your duty day. So that's how your cases come to you. I just wanted to address that because I had, it came up in the PowerPoint, and I just wanted to explain that. It looks like we have some questions here.
Yeah, I think we do. So there's one question. What is there a minimum number of cases that people must take? And no, there's not. There's a lot of people who have CPCS practice as a majority of their practice, or I have attorneys that only take like 2 or 3, 4 cases a year.
Since CPCS attorneys are independent contractors, are they afforded benefits as part of their employment? No. And you have to pay the other half of your self-employment tax. But the benefit you have is you're your own boss.
Yep.
And you make your own hours. It's for parents of young children. I've always found that it was a good way for people to make a living and work around the hours. And I will say, even though we're all trying to get you to come to the trial panels, the post-conviction or the appellate panels are also ideal practices for parents of young children.
So there's a question from Todd Staples. There's Worcester and Springfield. Is there an overlap? They are 2 separate bar advocate programs, and you could join either. Worcester definitely needs attorneys, and Hampden County needs them even more. You might not want to join multiple at once. In Hampden County, you will get enough work to fill your practice rather quickly. Same in Worcester.
I would just add to Todd as well that since we don't have the bar advocates in CAFL or mental health, you can sort of travel, but you don't have to join county by county. You just have to indicate to us what counties you want to practice on, and then we would forward your information to the clerk's offices, who then have, it varies a little bit by county how they contact people, but you then get assignment requests from the clerk's offices, from each county as cases come in.
And there's also a question whether attorneys cross over between different divisions. Absolutely. I really liked having the CAFL and the district and superior court work because if, sometimes, you don't, there's times in your life that you want to take a CAFL case, and then sometimes you want to take more criminal work. And it really allows you to mix it up. And, once you're in the system and taking the various cases, it just improves your level of practice. I will also say this. So one of the things that we do is we advocate that people provide educational advocacy. And so there was training on that. I would say that a significant portion of my private practice was educational advocacy as a private attorney. And so it was a very lucrative practice that I had. And that was outside of my CPCS with tools that I received from CPCS. There's also,
Sorry, go ahead, Erica.
there was a question, is there a cap on the number of cases you can take?
There is, and hours. The cap on the cases, nobody ever reaches. So that's a fallacy in a way, but the hours, yes. Right now, the hours are 2,000 hours a year, which at $53 an hour is $106,000 gross. That's gross, but I wanted to go back to the two panels. So I was on the post-conviction and the district and superior court trial panels. And what I liked about that is the appellate panel made me kind of a legal nerd, but the trial panels gave me trial experience. So I could use my appellate experience at being the smartest person in the courtroom on the law and my trial experience. So that, you can really work that out so that it benefits your clients. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We're all here telling you that this is a way to make a living and we need lawyers. But at the end of the day, this is about providing zealous advocacy to our clients. And we have all made a living doing just that. But they are still the most important people in the room.
I just wanted to clarify one thing to Ken as well, which is that although this year the cap is at 2,000, it's often less than that. It's around 1,650 or 1,800 hours has been how it's been for the last few years. This year it went up to 2,000, but I just wanted to be, just clear about that.
True point, except last year it also went up to 2,000. So next year it'll probably go up to 2,002. So what would not fall in? This is a question I would ask. Can you speak to what would not fall into billable time? Okay, so CAFL attorney making a home visit or similar mileage, that would all be billable. What wouldn't be billable is entering the bill. I mean, I'm answering your question, Drew, but seems to me what wouldn't be billable was actually submitting the bill, right?
But all your paperwork, your filing, your legal research, it's all billable. You have to document it just like if you were working in a law firm. But pretty much most of the time that you spend on your cases is billable time. There is some waiting time is a little questionable, but you're going to be busy. So, it's not like you're not going to be able to make, be able to bill for your day. Any other questions? No, I think that's it.
I think that's it. Well, thank you. Thanks for having us, Ariel. And thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, this was absolutely a wonderful presentation. I know from former students who even commented to me while the session was going on that they wish that they had this kind of program when they were going through school. I think you've given us a lot of really great concrete information. I'm hoping that folks that are on here, I know a lot of the students that have appeared today and they're really strong, wonderful students. So I'm hope that they get in touch with you for follow-up questions. We'll send around the PowerPoint.
Excellent.
And thank you so much for coming and doing this for us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
All right, everyone, stay well.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Ariel.